help me to reach 2,000 subscribers. The first time I realized my wife had learned to lie beautifully was when she told me she loved me while glancing at her phone. Her voice trembled, her eyes glistened, and for a moment, I almost believed her. But then her phone lit up again. Same number, same little heart beside the name E. She quickly flipped it over, pretending nothing happened. I remember the flicker of panic that passed through her eyes before she smiled again. That small, nervous smile, too practiced, too careful, was my first warning. For 15 years, Julia and I had built a life together from scratch. We'd met in college, scraped by on ramen and late nights, built a small real estate business that eventually took off. Every house we flipped felt like another chapter of our shared dream. Or so I thought. But lately, her laughter felt different. Her touch, distant. She'd begun dressing up for her networking dinners, her phone glued to her hand even in bed. When I asked, she'd sigh, say, "You're overthinking again, Mark. You've got to stop being so insecure." So, I convinced myself to trust her. That's what love does. It blinds you until the truth shatters your ribs. It started unraveling the night she came home late from another client meeting. Her perfume hit me before she even stepped inside. Expensive, musky, not the one I'd bought her. I sat in the living room, pretending to read. She looked startled when she saw me awake. "Couldn't sleep?" she asked, slipping off her heels. "Just waiting up," I said, eyes fixed on her face. "How was the meeting?" She hesitated, just a fraction of a second too long. "Productive. Might have landed a new buyer." Something in my chest twisted. The next morning, I checked our shared business account. A transfer, $40,000, was missing. Moved to a new joint account under her name only. I confronted her that evening. She smiled. "Oh, that. It's for a property investment I'm managing. It's complicated paperwork. You wouldn't understand." That was the second lie. Suspicion eats at you slowly. It doesn't roar. It whispers. For weeks, I followed her routine silently. She'd tell me she was meeting a client, then spend 3 hours at a cafe downtown. One afternoon, I parked a few blocks away and watched. She wasn't alone. He was tall, sharply dressed, maybe mid-30s. I saw her laugh, reach across the table, touch his hand. She didn't look like my wife in that moment. She looked like someone free. My breath caught in my throat. I sat there in the car, fingers gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles went white. A part of me wanted to storm in, to demand an explanation. But another part, the colder, quieter part, knew I needed proof. Love makes you desperate. Betrayal makes you strategic. Over the next month, I gathered everything. Bank records, texts, photos. I learned the man's name, Ethan Ward, one of our high-end clients who'd been looking for investment property. It turned out, Julia hadn't just been selling him houses. She'd been buying one, with him. A newly purchased home listed under her name, paid with his contribution. She'd even used funds siphoned from our business to cover the down payment. My heart felt like glass grinding against itself. When I confronted her, she didn't cry. She didn't even deny it. "Mark," she said softly, "I didn't mean for it to happen. It just did." I laughed bitterly. "And what about the house, Julia? The one you bought with our money?" Her lips parted. "He helped me, yes. But it's mine now. It's going to be my future." Her future. Something inside me snapped. I called my lawyer the next morning. By evening, the divorce papers were ready. The house, the one she thought she'd secured for herself, was listed under our joint business assets. Legally, it was ours. When she realized I'd moved first, she stormed into my office. Her face was pale, eyes wild. "You can't do this, Mark. That house is mine." "No, Julia," I said quietly. "It's ours. You used company money. You wanted to build your future with another man using what we created together. I just made sure you wouldn't." Her voice broke. "I loved you once, you know." I looked at her then, really looked. The woman I'd fallen in love with was gone, replaced by someone hollow, desperate for validation. "Maybe," I said. but not enough to stay honest. The divorce dragged on for months. Every hearing, every argument, stripped away another layer of what we used to be. She tried to guilt me, telling mutual friends I'd taken everything. She cried in court, saying she had nowhere to go. But I'd stopped listening to her words long before then. The final day, when the judge granted me full ownership of the house and our business, she finally broke down. Real tears. Her shoulders shook as she whispered, "You ruined me." I wanted to tell her she'd done that herself. But instead, I walked away. The house sits empty now. Ethan never came for her. She found out later that he'd been married the entire time, using her as his side affair. She lost the job, the money, the man. Sometimes I drive past that house, the one built from deceit and half-truths. The blinds are drawn, the garden overgrown, the windows clouded with dust. It's a monument to everything we destroyed in the name of love. And every time I see it, I remember her last words to me, through tears and trembling lips. "Why, Mark? Why did you take it all from me?" I'd looked her in the eye and said, "Because it was never yours to begin with." But here's the cruelest part. Even now, when the papers are signed and the silence between us is permanent, I sometimes dream of her. Of the laughter before the lies, the touch before the betrayal. And I wake up hating myself a little, for missing the woman who never really existed. Because love doesn't die in one clean cut. It bleeds out slowly, painfully, until all that's left is the ghost of what could have been. And sometimes, the worst part of betrayal isn't losing the person who lied to you. It's realizing how much of yourself you lost believing in them.